DJI Flip release, reviews to watch. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night, I hosted Boater Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Braun. We spent the better part of the show discussing all the latest about the just-released DJI Flip, including the reviews to watch. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. Well, you know, and I got to say this. One of the things, and I talked about this before you joined, I always like to watch those videos, okay? And I watched, I'm going to say 9, 10 videos today on it. And I learned so much, okay? I really did. Now, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about with this was, and it was towards the end of videos that I watched, was Rick Smith, all right? And I did not know this. This was something that just absolutely blew me away. It has a new battery technology in it, okay? Lithium, nickel,
manganese, cobalt. Holy cow.
Cobalt. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Lithium,
and look at that. Look at that
manganese,
symbol up
cobalt.
there. LINIMNCO02. C002.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You know, but you know, that's one of the things. That's why I always tell, and one of the things before you join, you know, I tell everybody, you know, besides just watching, you watch Billy and watch Dobo and Aldrin and everything, but watch a variety of them because you learn things. Okay. And until Rick, nobody else had talked about that, which I thought was very interesting here. Okay. Was this as well too. Now, one of the other things that I learned today, and I'm trying to see whose video that was. I think one of my favorites, well, so I'm bring it up here. Now, I want to play this part right here. You know, I know this morning we had shared part of Russ's video out there, and one of the things that we did, this was in the wind, to see how it did in the wind here.
Yeah, it's moving around a little bit on the screen, but not too bad. So let's go ahead and just fly it.
See, it was bouncing around there out in the wind, and that's what I thought from after, you know, we went ahead and we saw what else was going on. One of the other things I learned today, and I think it was in Aldrin's video, was that when you open it up, it turns on automatically. And the reverse happens when you close it, it shuts down, which I thought was interesting. You know, picking up on some things and learning some things with all this, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, boy, they're really going after those vloggers because they want that quick deploy, you know, that they can just pull it out of their backpack and, you know, land it and then, you know, go do their next thing. It seems like that's what they're going after, Bill.
Yeah. And one of the things I thought was real interesting, and Aldrin raised it, and I think several other guys raised it as well too, is how low that sits to the ground. And Aldrin said, you know, you got to make sure that the area that you take off from is really clear of debris because it's so low to the ground. Now, not the gimbal. The gimbal's pretty far up, but the props, and especially the back props, they're really low to the ground. And he said it's real easy to kick up dirt and dust and everything into the motors themselves. So he said you kind of need to be careful on that as far as you know, where you take off from. You know, obviously you want to use a landing pad, of course.
Well, or that's just a drone. Why just like the Neo, hand launch it. Why? I mean, that's what they're kind of designed for. And I'm not a hand launcher, hand catcher. It's not my favorite thing to do. But those kind of drones are so easy.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that Aldrin did in his video, he talked about about pinching the body of it. Okay, instead of holding it like this, pinching the body, and then if you catch it, you kind of like, you know, cup it, kind of a thing, instead of having your hand flat out is how you do something like that. Because, you know, he said those props could get, you know, you could kind of get nicked with something like that. But overall, the big takeaway from that is obviously, if you have a good landing mat out there, that's gonna address that issue, and it's something you should do. They did fault that. Now, one of the other interesting things that I learned today was it's a quad battery charger. Okay,
Right.
and what happens with that quad battery charger? Two batteries on one side, depending upon now, you have to probably use something with a lot of watts, like that 100-watt DJI charger. But if you're using something that powerful, it'll charge two of the batteries at once versus
Two of them concurrently, and yeah.
Right. And that's two on one side and then two on the other side. So, and it's real interesting. I mean, I was very interested in that part of the technology as well too. And Aldrin also played a sample as well. He put the DJI mic on, and he had the Flip in front of him, and he said, "I can hardly hear myself talk right now, but I have the mic on." It completely eliminated the drone noise. It did fantastic with that. I was impressed with that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. And by the way, all of these style of drones, they all have that feature, that hover. The Neo has it. This drone has it. So, in order to get good audio, the best way to do it is to use your DJI mic, attach your DJI mic Bluetooth to your phone, and then your phone. And the problem I have with that is that you're going to way too much trouble. So if you and I understand why vloggers would want to do it, pardon me, because they just want to upload a video, right? That's got the audio in it already. However, there's just more to it. Now, you could just use your phone, and I'm sure your Samsung has a fantastic microphone, just like an iPhone does. Sometimes the best mic I have is my iPhone.
Oh,
however, if there's any wind noise, forget it. Forget it. And that's why you would use the DJI mic with the wind muff on it, etc. So it's kind of a slippery slope, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. There's more to it than meets the eye. Exactly.
And one of the things that I found, and it was trial and error when I got the original DJI mic 1, okay, I couldn't get it to work until I found out what I needed to do was when I recorded video, I had to go to advanced video settings on my Samsung, all right, and then look at the auxiliary or it had a spot for something like that for the microphone.
To tell it to use that one, yeah.
And then it had like the meters, like the bars jumping up and down, so you knew when you were talking that it was going to record it from the mic, and
you could adjust your gain probably from that
exactly
as well.
Okay, and it worked once I figured that out. It took me forever. I was trying to find. I'm like, why in the heck isn't this working?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I've never done it with my iPhone, and the reason I don't, in fact, I seldom use the receiver with my DJI mics. I typically just record directly to the mic, and then I sync it up in post-production.
Do that as well.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes what I will do now, I found it, it's okay when it's close by, is doing Bluetooth with the phone with the DJI mic. Okay.
It's not reliable.
But yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. It's not very, very reliable.
You can turn just a little bit and it'll cut out. You got to be really careful.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I found. So you need to have that dongle. You need to do it that way. But yeah, it's kind of cumbersome. I agree as far as that's concerned. So yeah, I don't want to, I don't like messing around with that. I'm like you, I'll put it up here, hit record, and then I'll sync it up. It's super easy to sync.
So we're probably getting too far in the weeds because we're content providers. But one of the things that I always do is trying to have multiple sources of audio in case one of them messes up. You've got a backup. So one of the reasons I always do a screen recording with my phone is I've always got audio on that. If I absolutely have to have it, I've got audio on that, as well as the mic. And then you also, with your Action camera, it's recording audio as well. And that it helps you sync things up, and it always gives you a backup in case you have a problem.
Absolutely. Now, I want to take a look at or just talk about some of these videos. It's always a treat to watch Sean's videos.
Right.
And he did a great job in terms of the tracking on the Flip. He does a really out of all the videos I watched, he did the best. He was the best with that. I really like that. He did a great job. One of the other ones that go ahead.
Well, I'm just looking at that. If you can put Mike's video or comment up there. So, Mike, the remote ID, it's turned off in the US because that's one of the things that Billy made sure that he mentioned in his video is that the Flip does not have remote ID. But so that's kind of odd. Why would they turn it off? Turned off in the US. I wish they'd turn it on. Just leave it on. Anyway,
Yeah,
I just thought that was an interesting comment.
I agree. Now, one of the other ones that I watched was Ken's video, which was good. And what I like with Ken, what he did was he did a couple of the self features with it, no controller. He did like a droney, and he says it goes about 4 feet away, and then it comes up. He did a good demo with that. I liked that. I thought that was pretty good. Let's go ahead. And with Billy's video, I still, man, wow, this cough is just not going right.
Yeah,
we're still trying to kick this thing here. Okay. Billy's video was good. He it was one of the shorter ones because I some of them were like over a half hour, 38 minutes. Now, one of them that I didn't put, and Billy's was good. One of the ones that I didn't put up here was, and it was really kind of, Dustin Dunhill did one, was 38 minutes, and I'm figuring, this is going to be good. But he spent most of the time doing like an unboxing for 38 minutes today, which I was looking for a flight video, and he didn't have that. I'm sure he'll get one out, but I was a little bit on the disappointed side as far as that was concerned.
Sounds like an Idaho quadcopter video.
Yeah, well, no, it's like Russ did a great video because and what I like about what his video was, he broke it down into a lot of segments. Hey, Ron.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Good. Ronald Thomas.
Keep going, Bill. Don't let me disrupt the show.
No. One of the things that Russ did was he broke them down into bite-sized chunks and really learned a lot through these bite-sized chunks about the Flip. And he did a good demo of it all the way along here. So I thought that was well done as well. Ron, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Rick Smith put a video out. There's a new battery chemistry with the Flip.
Wow.
Okay.
I did not see Rick's video.
Yeah. Let's see. I got it up here. It's lithium, nickel, manganese, cobalt is what it is.
Are we back in high school physics class, Bill?
Well, chemistry class. Yeah.
Back in chemistry
will you be my
class.
lab partner this semester?
I don't know who it is.
I said, well, you be my lab partner this semester.
Absolutely.
I thought Susan was your lab partner, Ron.
I didn't know Susan in high school.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Well, one of the other things that I learned today, and I don't know if you knew this, and I think it was on Aldrin's video, but I'm not real sure, is, the battery charger, it charges 4 batteries, not just 3.
Right.
And that if you have a powerful enough power source, like that 100-watt charger, and hook it up to that, it'll charge 2 of the batteries at once.
Right. I did.
Okay, I
did see that. Yes. Bill, back to that, the chemistry of that battery. What are do we know the benefits of that new chemistry of the batteries?
Rick talked about it very briefly. He didn't go in depth on that. But basically, I think you're getting more power out of the same area, kind of a thing.
So a smaller battery can do more.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're limited to that space, and you want it chemically. Apparently, it produces a little bit of a better reaction that way in order to get that
BTU density.
Oh, I like that, Marcus.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I do notice the battery's pretty small in this drone, Bill. So that's probably how they get the 31 minutes out of the small battery.
you know, one of the and one of the things, and I was just talking about this with Marcus was, and Aldrin did a great video today too. It's one of the ones I really liked. He broke his down into good chunks as well. One of the things he did was he demoed the DJI mic with it, and he had it like 4 feet away from him, and it completely muffled the sound of the drone. You didn't hear the drone at all. You did hear him. It was clear. There wasn't any issue at all with that. So that does work. I was hoping that we were gonna hear something like that.
Bill, they pretty much have that technology down on the Neo also for the sound recording.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It almost, yeah. They have
And this Hover Air does the same thing. So it's known technology, I guess is what we're trying to say.
Right.
And it works well. No, it works well.
And it does work well. You know, in all, you know, and one of the things that I think was important was, you know, a lot of the reviewers today, when I was going through these reviews, they were comparing it to the Mini 4 and the Mini 4 Pro, which I thought was really interesting.
I saw that too. Yeah.
In terms of its capabilities and size and flight time and features and things, saying it's kind of like a halfway stop, if you will, between a Neo and a Mini and a Mini 4 specifically is what they were comparing it to.
What I was surprised is, like, I know Billy, he thought even the speed and the way it flew compared favorably to the Mini 4 Pro.
Right.
Even taking the fact that it has those, you know, inducted, you know, basically prop guards on it.
Jaybird makes a good point though, and that's the same thing if you're comparing it to the Mini 3. Flight time is much less.
Oh, and I heard some of the reviewers say they were getting much less than 31 minutes. I heard somebody saying 12 to 15 minutes or whatever.
I'll tell you in a few days, Ron.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things that I saw, Ron, and I think Aldrin had pointed this out in his video, is how low the flip sits to the ground. And he said you really have to be careful where you take off and land from if you're not using a mat, because it's so low to the ground, it's going to kick up anything that's underneath it because the props are really close. So any dirt, dust, debris, it's going to get up into the motor and the motor area.
Bill, I suspect like the Neo, they expect most people to take off with the palm of their hand.
Right. Now he demonstrated, which was very different, was taking off and catching it with the body, not under the props, not holding your hand open like this, but going like this and catching it. That's using the body.
Lauren Donauer style. Lauren promotes that with just regular camera drones. Hey, Ron, you know, with that regard, I know you could probably use two. Can I interest you in a gently used Neo? Look at this beautiful, still got the original box. Ron, I'll make you a great deal.
I need to actually, you know, fly my own Neo more than once every 3 months.
Yeah, but now you'd have two not to
fly much.
Yeah, two not to fly. Yeah.
You know, if I have a little accident, maybe I'll give you a call.
But Bill probably gets tired of us making these jokes, Ron.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, you know,
Marcus, maybe I could trade you some stuff around here I don't use.
Start RC. I need more Start RC stuff.
Well, you know, one of the other things was, and I wanted to kind of touch base on this as well too, was availability. All right. Oh, yes. It's going to ship, and it sounds like it's going to ship pretty fast, which is good. And it's probably coming from the mothership. Fingers crossed as to hoping that it can clear customs and won't have any issues with that. You know, my question is, you know, when are we going to start to see it at places, you know, like Best Buy right away and Amazon? I mean, it was at Amazon today, but, you know, it's a third party that's doing this.
Bill, kind of stop there. We made that comment this morning, and I looked at it a little deeper. That store we never heard of, they're an authorized DJI reseller.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you could, if you click in there, it has a big thing that they're authorized, and they're selling all three configurations, and they look like the only person selling it. So I'm wondering if they work with DJI to be the only authorized reseller on Amazon. I don't know that. I'm just making up because it doesn't seem like
Speculating, sure.
anybody else has it but them. They have all 3 models and they're selling it for the right price. They're not, usually third-party sellers bump the price higher or unauthorized sellers. And Bill, can I make a quick correction? I think I watched a lot of videos today, and I think we misquoted this morning. I believe this drone actually has a 3-axis gimbal. At one point, we said a 2-axis plus. Yeah, right. I watched a couple videos today, and they specifically said 3-axis gimbal.
I saw a spec sheet that said 2-axis.
I never got back to check the spec sheet, but I know I heard.
Go look, Ron.
I heard two big channels said it had a 3-axis gimbal.
I'm gonna go look for us, Ron, right now.
I did see that today, Ron. That's a good point to bring up. And these guys here, and I do want to say this. I do want to raise a point, and I think I brought this up this morning. I'm trying to get confused between last night and this morning. But the guys who get these reviews, they do a great job with these reviews. Okay, I'm not gonna. They do a fantastic job with them. But also too, in order to keep reviewing these drones, okay, you can't really throw DJI under the bus too much. Okay, they're going to have some nitpicks and they're going to say a few things, but overall, it's going to be a positive experience and a positive review. But for somebody like, well, I know Jaybird says, should I get this drone? I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, okay, I think you'd be disappointed in it. Okay, I think you're looking, if you were to get a drone in this class, I'd up it a notch and get a Mini 4 Pro. And I'm not sure if you have one or not, Jaybird, but I think a lot of people with our experience that have had, been flying drones for years, I think, as far as the video quality and recording capabilities with it, I think you'd be disappointed. I don't think you'd be as pleased.
Along that line, I noticed the overall length of these videos today was much shorter than you usually see on a new DJI drone. There wasn't a whole lot to say.
Yeah. Well, what was real interesting, and I don't know if you saw this, I went out to Dustin Dunhill. He had a video, but it was 38 minutes of an unboxing.
Well, he's the king. He's the king of the long videos. He's maybe the exception.
Yeah.
But actually, 38 is a shorty for Dustin.
Well, and he didn't have any flight time in it, okay, which I thought was really, especially for a first video. Now Rick, I'm used to Rick. He'll do an unboxing, then he'll do a first flight video, okay? Mm-hmm. But for Dustin, I was waiting towards the end because it talked about in his title was a little bit of clickbait there. Said first flight, and there wasn't a first flight. So, he said that toward the end. He said, well, we'll have the first flight video coming up, and boom, that was it. So,
well, maybe the first flight was there, but maybe the video got so long he chopped it. Maybe when he said that at the beginning, it was all going to be one video, but he said, "Oh, I better chop this off at 38." I'm sticking up for my buddy Dustin. It looks like our friend Richard ordered the Flip after seeing the reviews.
Yeah, and Richard just said too. Evidently, this tax thing is going around the country. I know Marcus said he had tax today. Richard said in New York State he got charged tax today. I've been charged tax since day one.
Yeah.
Ordering it from Florida. That's
there's no such thing as escaping the tax man in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, and you can't escape him in Florida. We have no state income tax, but look out for everything else. Okay.
But yeah, so the sales tax, another story, right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's like, yeah, look, you better be prepared with this. So, all in all, I don't want to say I'm anticlimactic about it, but I'm not bowled over like like a Mavic 3 Pro or a Mavic 4 Pro coming out, saying, yeah, that buy button, I'm going to hit it so fast to make your head spin, kind of a thing. Something like this. This is something you want to pause and think about. Do you really need something like this? Is this?
I think we've reached the point, Bill. We have to kind of understand that DJI's trying to fill all the slots now, so they're making a lot of specialized drones for beginners, new users, non-hardcore drone flyers. And we just can't expect we can't expect to have every DJI drone that comes out be a personal kind of fill a personal need for it. Just like you go to the car dealership, Marcus go to the Chevy dealership. He's a big fan of the Corvette, but it's a lot of cars on that lot that he would have no interest in driving either. It's the same thing with DJI. Now, they make a lot of drones now for specific purposes of people, and we can't expect to like every model that they produce.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, you know, I did buy the Neo, but I sold it today. You know, and I never flew it. It just, for me, I'm just like, it really, it was just one of these things. It just didn't get me.
No, if my Neo suddenly disappeared tonight, you wouldn't see me crying in the morning.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I felt about this was, you know, after looking at a lot of the videos and a lot of the reviews and watching the actual video that people shot on the Neo, it just wasn't. It just really didn't hit home. You know, and I get it. Why they did the Neo and why they did the Flip was to hit this Instagram, TikTok kind of crowd, doing the selfies, that kind of thing, and especially with the Flip to compete with drones like the Hover with a little bit more control as far as that's concerned, and at a better
You see
price.
Richard's comment in the chat. Richard said reviews suggest that the Flip has as good as camera as a Mini 4 Pro and costs us. That's a good point, Richard. But also the Mini 4 Pro will be 2 years old this summer, so we're kind of getting a 2-year-old camera.
Yeah.
Marcus.
Well, I just want to point out that it absolutely does have a 3-axis gimbal. Although
Okay.
I'm seeing some of the specifications, it doesn't have as much roll as like the Mini 4 Pro.
So
And
maybe
the tilt,
a lesser 3-axis gimbal. That
yeah.
would,
So then, and also the tilt axis will only go up to plus 35. It'll go minus 90, but it won't look straight up. Like,
because the camera has that LCD above it, doesn't have room to do like the Mini 3 and 4 do. Good point. Good
exactly right. So a little bit of a change in the roll axis, but I suspect you'll never know it by looking at the video. Well, from what we've seen, you'd never know it. Anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah,
You know,
good point.
Question of the day: what did you think of DJI Flip released reviews to watch? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.